Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of GSU ENI Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today on the show, we have Leban Arreh and Abdi Ali with Tikler. Welcome, guys. Now, before we get too far into things, tell us about Tikler. How you serving folks?
Yeah, thanks, Lee. Well, we've actually just launched. We had a soft launch back in February, but we are an information management platform or software. So our mission is to really simplify information management in organizations and give people back their time of day instead of doing routine manual work of finding details and documents and email threads and all the things that can hamper you down on a day-to-day.
So now, like, what exactly is information management? Like, everybody just seems to be acquiring lots and lots of information, and it's coming from a variety of places. And information is a big word. It covers a lot of ground.
No, that is an excellent point. And I'm glad you asked that question, actually. It's a broad subject, if you will. It's a pretty vague word term as well. But when you think about it, the example I like to give is if you own a small business or work for a medium-sized or even a Fortune 500 company, oftentimes you'll find that you're dealing with business documents, contracts, minutes of meetings, whatever it may be. And a lot of the times people are using spreadsheets to capture and track and communicate using email, and then also using, folder directories. A lot of that time can be spent searching for information and tracking it and communicating it on a timely basis. And so we thought of, why don't we bring all of those elements together in a single platform, just so that to eliminate at the end of the day any silos in information or communication that may exist within teams, departments, and really individuals. So it is a broad term, but our mission, really our initial mission started with solving the task at hand for us is solving the issue with document management, and then expanding out to other forms of information management. So we started with documents, and we really want to create an environment where people are moving away from spreadsheets, moving away from folder directories, and more so moving into a collaborative environment.
So now I have a small business, and tell me if you can help us with this. So, like, we have somebody that sells a deal, then somebody else has to onboard that person, then somebody else has to kind of manage that person, and then somebody has to, just keep supporting them over time, and then at some point they're going to have to kind of sell them the next deal. And a lot of times we lose track of where certain things are and why, did this get covered? Did they get this? Is this a solution for that, where like everybody has access to everything and then you can kind of find whatever you need because it's all in one place?
Yeah, it sounds like a great fit. It very well could be. Ultimately, the dream is to create a single source of truth. So ideally, if, let's say in your scenario that you've outlined, you bring on a new customer and there's contracts and documentation relating to that. But then there's also the communication pieces you've mentioned and the knowledge retention, as well as just the tasks and reminders necessary to be on top of it. All of that would ideally live in one ecosystem, which would be Tikler, instead of you having to potentially, I would assume, create a spreadsheet to document some of that information and then going back forth over email threads.
Now, would it work that, like, say I have one customer and then I know that all the customers are going to go on this similar journey? Can I kind of clone that information and then start another conversation? And so that all of that information now so I don't have to recreate the wheel every time. I can remember all the stuff I have to do and all the components of it, because I can just kind of clone it and then make it used for the next customer.
To an extent, absolutely. For us, it's all about process improvement, making something routine where there's not multiple ways of doing it. So in our platform, there's a component where you can create templates, and those templates would allow you to, every single time you're doing an action that's repeatable, do it the same exact way. And that at the end of the day is going to facilitate a means where if you have other staff or other employees working on the same tasks, there's not a Lee version versus a Leban version of documentation. It's more so you guys are following the straight and narrow path, and ultimately having that single source of truth that you could always reference back to. So absolutely.
So now, who is the customer for this? Are you targeting like enterprise level companies, or are they franchises, or like who is the best use case for this? Yeah,
that's great. When we initially started, we believe Tikler was meant for everyone, but as you know, product for everyone is for no one. So now we're trying to niche down a little bit. And so based on our customer discovery, we definitely want to go through the enterprise route, not the self-service route. So right now we're speaking to contract managers and accountants at the moment. And so we're actually happy enough we're continuing talks with Georgia State University's contract IT department team, and we're actually onboarding them pretty soon. So that's kind of our target market for now.
And then how did the idea come about? What was the genesis of the idea?
Yeah. In terms of how we came up with Tikler?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let Abdi take that. So go ahead. Tell him the funny story on how we came up with Tikler.
Yeah, it was just the spur of the moment. Like to try to think of different ideas for, starting businesses. And, back when COVID was in its infancy, if that's the correct term, back in March of 2020, just sleeping late at night, semi-consciously thought of, hey, why am I still using Google Drive supplemented by a spreadsheet to just keep track of all the information on my day-to-day? There must be something better than that, especially specifically information management, not to be confused with project management or anything like that. Pulled my phone out, and I usually run ideas by Leban a lot, and took a chance, and 3 a.m. in the morning called him up and said, hey, why don't we combine a spreadsheet with a folder and a calendar and see what happens? And he, incoherently, of course, and it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and he said, what? And that's pretty much where the journey started from. So, luckily he was awake to take my crazy call. Yeah, lucky he was awake to take my crazy call at that late in the morning, or early in the morning. And from there, ran the idea by our other co-founders, and it became a COVID baby.
Now, where are you at? So you have an actual prototype. This is in live in the wild, and you're looking, like you mentioned, one partner. Is that the beta test for this, the guinea pig?
Yeah. So they are. It's a closed beta right now. We have 2 entities using it, or organizations. One of those hopefully is going to be fully onboarded, which is one of the departments within Georgia State. It is in production, fully built out for the initial problem that we solved. But, we have a long roadmap in terms of enhancements we want to do down the line and really make this the tool that we dreamt about. But but V1 is out and is up and live and running.
Wow, congratulations. That's a big achievement.
Thank you.
Now, how did you get involved with the Main Street Entrepreneurship Seed Fund?
Yeah. So I actually came across, we're Georgia State alumni, and a few of our friends that we know have actually done the first round of Main Street Fund. And I remember looking at it, and, this was during right before COVID hit. And I told myself, hey, if me, Abdi, and our other co-founders, we ever come up with an idea, this is where we need to go to Main Street Fund. The turnout was amazing. The feedback was amazing. So I believe this was back in May of 2020, where it wasn't really announced that, the Main Street Fund wasn't going to be having a second one because of COVID and all that. So I remember reaching out, cold emailing MK and asking him, hey, whenever the next cohort is, like, let us know. We have an idea, and this is before we built it out, and we definitely want to pursue it. And then a few months later, MK called us back, and we kind of told him, like, yeah, we just developed product and we're interested. And so we kind of went through there and applied and got in. And so, yeah, so that's kind of the journey on how we found out on Main Street. Now,
your background, you each are working in SaaS companies, right? Like, you're kind of already onto your career, and this is a side hustle that, with dreams of, a happy ending at the end. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Like Abdi mentioned before, me and Abdi, we've been talking starting businesses for the last few years, and us being in the SaaS space kind of opened things up in terms of solving problems through software. And yet, right now we are working full time, but Tikler is kind of our second full time job as well. And so as we gain traction, we're looking to grow it into something bigger.
Now, any advice for other people that are working and then might have several friends that share this common interest to put together a group to at least experiment with business ideas like you've done?
Yeah. My main advice would be just to get started. And that's pretty vague, but I know for us, this is not our first go around. We've actually had a project we worked on previously together, and wasn't as successful as we wanted, but it was a learning experience. So a lot of the time, fear can get in the way. It's okay to fail. Just start. An hour a day is going to get you farther along your goals or your ambitions. So we started just idea phase, writing it down on a piece of paper, and then gradually progress towards actually building it out. If it motivates anybody, we're not technical co-founders, either of us. We're not developers at the end of the day. So we've outsourced all of this and kind of just grown our internal network. So don't be afraid to start, and really just if you're excited and passionate about something, just give it a run. Anything can be achieved at the end of the day. You don't have to be an expert in the subject matter in which you're trying to solve a problem. So you can become one, though. So
how did you find that the technologist?
It took a lot of kind of just research and understanding of the market in terms of, do we have a budget for this? What would be most cost effective? At the end of the day, we went overseas. Our developers are located in India. That was also another big gamble. We're wiring money overseas. Is this actually going to work out? Are we going to be scammed? So it took a lot of, I would say, conversations and back and forth between the teams there and demoing their products and what they've worked on. But ultimately, we found a great partner overseas who's been great in developing the product, allowing us to build up our knowledge in the space at the same time. So it's kind of, we like to think of it as an MBA that we've paid for, as well as a product that we've built.
And what's been the most rewarding part of the journey so far?
It's I'll let you take it, Leban, but for me, it's personally been just working with your friends. A lot of the times people say don't go into business with your friends, but if you have a good set of friends and you have the same vision and the mission, it's every day is an exciting day. So for me, and also the most rewarding aspect of it is coming together with a common goal and seeing it come into fruition. The product itself, just self-standing alone today, is ultimately our biggest success. So even if we don't spend another moment on it, I think this is kind of like something that I'd love to frame and put on my wall. But
yeah,
go ahead, Leban.
Just to kind of piggy off of that, yeah, definitely. It's just the thing I love about it the most is just having an idea and seeing through that idea. And it's definitely hard doing it alone, but when you have other like-minded founders, you have someone else pushing you. So maybe one day you don't feel like working, but then, your other co-founders, you see them closing deals or progressing, and that kind of motivates you to work on it even more. So I think the journey in itself is rewarding.
Well, congratulations on all the success. If somebody wants to learn more, is there a website?
Absolutely. Yes. They can find us at tikler.io, tikler.io. If you guys are interested, we are looking to partner up with folks as well. And if you want to try out the software, reach out to either me or Abdi. We're also on LinkedIn as well. Well,
thank you again for sharing your story. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take the time, Lee.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on GSU ENI Radio.